Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Anime Dreams. Today, we're diving into a fascinating what-if scenario that twists fate itself. What if the rabbit goddess marked Naruko? How would this divine mark change her destiny? Would it alter her power, her relationships, or the path of the entire story? We'll explore the lore, the consequences, and the possibilities that unfold from this single moment. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. The content on this channel is created purely for entertainment and discussion. I do not own any anime footage used in my videos. All rights and credits belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Now, with that said, let's begin. Naruko's reflection. It has been 6 months since the end of the Fourth Great Ninja War. 6 months since my 18th birthday, the day everything changed. I sit quietly in my room, watching the afternoon sunlight stretch across the floor, and I think about everything that happened. When we returned home, I was promoted to Jonin. Everyone congratulated me, smiling proudly. But soon after, the village leaders asked me to rest for a while. They said it was okay to slow down. They were right. My heart felt heavy. So many things happened at once. I helped bring peace to the ninja world. I stood beside my teammates when it mattered most. I was called a hero again, but titles feel strange when you're still learning how to smile afterward. What stays with me most is not the celebration, but the promise I made. A promise to keep moving forward, even when things feel difficult. Some days, I don't feel as bright or energetic as I used to. That's okay. Growth doesn't always happen quickly. I've spent these months resting, thinking, and learning how to listen to my own feelings. I still go outside sometimes, to buy food, to feel the breeze, to remind myself that the world is still turning. My friends are out there, too. I know I'll see them again when I'm ready. Because I'm still me. I'm still Naruko. And someday, I'll become Hokage. As I close my eyes, my thoughts drift back to that unforgettable night, not with fear, but with clarity. Flashback. Fourth Great Ninja War, October 10th. The place felt like a dream. Golden sand stretched endlessly beneath a wide, cloudless sky. Warm wind swirled gently through the air, carrying tiny grains that sparkled like stars. This was one of Kaguya's strange worlds, a place shaped by powerful magic. Sasuke and I stood together, alert but calm. We had learned that staying focused, and kind to one another, was the key to overcoming any challenge. Stay close, I said, hovering slightly above the ground using my chakra. We'll figure this out together. Kaguya appeared a short distance away, her expression calm and distant. She wasn't shouting or angry. She was testing us, watching how we worked as a team. This world responds to intention, she said softly. Show me your balance. The air shimmered as shapes of light moved around us, like puzzles shifting into place. Sasuke nodded and glanced my way. She's not attacking, he said. She wants us to understand something. Kurama's voice echoed gently in my thoughts, steady and encouraging. This is about harmony, Naruko. Trust yourself. I smiled. Then let's answer together. Sasuke and I combined our chakra, not to fight, but to create a glowing path across the sand. The swirling light slowed, settling peacefully, as if the world itself had taken a deep breath. Kaguya watched silently, then, for the first time, she smiled. Back to the present. I opened my eyes. That night wasn't just about saving the world. It was about learning who I am when things don't go perfectly. About choosing hope, even when it's hard. I stand up and stretch, feeling a little stronger than yesterday. Tomorrow, I'll take another step forward. Because a promise is a promise, and I intend to keep mine. Glowing star emoji, Naruko in the light of teamwork, glowing star emoji. Well, yeah. Why? Naruko asked, raising an eyebrow with a playful grin as she skipped backward, gracefully avoiding another glowing energy ribbon sent her way. She landed lightly on the sandy ground and clapped her hands together. Shadow clone jutsu. 3 cheerful Naruko clones appeared in a puff of sparkly mist. 2 hovered protectively in front of her, while the third helped her shape a swirling ball of bright blue light. Sasuke, I've got an idea. Naruko called over her shoulder. Sasuke replied, already paying close attention. Nearby, Gyuki spoke calmly, his voice thoughtful. Naruko, can you share chakra with objects around you? And even combine it with someone else's energy? Naruko blinked. I think so? I've never tried it like that before. Kurama's warm, steady voice chimed in. It's possible, with trust and balance. But it takes teamwork. Just then, a burst of light sent Naruko and Sasuke gently tumbling onto the soft sand. They both laughed as they popped back up, brushing themselves off. Okay, Naruko said, hands on her hips, smiling brightly. Let's work together for real this time. Her eyes shimmered as Gyuki briefly guided her thoughts. Sasuke, Gyuki explained kindly, we'd like to combine your lightning chakra with Naruko's energy, not to harm, but to create a brilliant flash of light. It will pause our opponent long enough for us to safely seal her away. Sasuke nodded. A light technique. I like that. Suddenly, Naruko's clone shifted as Shukaku's playful voice joined in. And I'll make sure the ground helps too. Soft, sticky sand, no running away. Naruko returned to herself, smiling with confidence. You know, Sasuke. We really are a great team. Focus, Sasuke said, but there was a small smile. A glowing portal opened, and Kaguya stepped forward, calm and curious rather than angry. I see you've grown strong, she said softly. Let's see what you've learned. Naruko knelt, placing her hands on the ground. Gentle golden light flowed from her palms, spreading through every grain of sand like sunshine after rain. Sasuke stood tall, raising his hand as lightning chakra crackled, not sharp or dangerous, but bright and controlled. Now! Naruko called. The sand shimmered. The light gathered. High voltage sign emoji, sparkles emoji, flash, sparkles emoji, high voltage sign emoji. A warm, radiant glow filled the area like 1,000 fireflies, gently surrounding Kaguya. She paused, surprised, but not hurt, as the sealing energy wrapped around her like a glowing ribbon. Well done, Kaguya said peacefully. You chose cooperation over conflict. With a final shimmer, she vanished into the light, sealed safely away. Naruko exhaled and plopped onto the sand. That was awesome. Sasuke nodded. You did great. Naruko laughed, giving a thumbs up. Teamwork always wins. And beneath the glowing sky, the world felt a little brighter than before. Glowing star emoji, a new light, Naruko's courage, glowing star emoji. Naruko felt her chakra gently connect with Sasuke's, like two streams joining into one bright river of energy. The air shimmered as soft sand lifted into the breeze, glowing with warmth rather than force. Both of them raised their arms to shield their eyes as a wide, peaceful light spread across the land, bright but comforting, like sunrise stretching across the horizon. Kaguya cried out in surprise, covering her eyes as the glow surrounded her. She staggered back, clearly overwhelmed, but not hurt. The light was firm and steady, meant to protect the world rather than cause harm. Naruko and Sasuke moved together, landing on either side of Kaguya. Seal. Naruko called. Seal. Sasuke echoed. They placed their hands gently on Kaguya's shoulders. A calm glow appeared beneath their palms, one light, one shadow, slowly growing brighter. The warmth caused both of them to step back, shielding their eyes again as the energy took shape. Before Naruko could finish speaking, two tall, peaceful guardians appeared. One shimmered with a soft golden glow like sunlight on water, while the other glowed with a gentle violet light, like twilight. Their presence felt calm and wise, not frightening at all. The guardians floated around Kaguya, extending their arms outward in a protective circle. Please. Let me go, Kaguya said, her voice trembling as she struggled against the glowing light. The guardians slowly brought their hands together. A gentle chime echoed, and a beam of light wrapped around Kaguya like a cocoon. Sealing art, heavenly sanctuary, the guardians said kindly. Rest, they added. Kaguya was lifted softly into the air, spinning slowly as the glow surrounded her. She tried to escape, but the light calmly guided her back, steady and peaceful. I won't disappear, Kaguya said, her voice fading as her anger softened. I only wanted to protect my world. The glow gradually changed into a small, smooth stone, no larger than a marble. A single symbol meaning peace appeared on its surface. The stone landed gently on the sand with a quiet tap. Seal complete, the guardians said, smiling as they dissolved into sparkling dust that drifted through the air like falling stars. Naruko stared in awe. Wow, she said softly. That was incredible. Sasuke sighed and gently lay back on the sand, exhaustion finally catching up with him. Naruko laughed tiredly and flopped down beside him, staring up at the sky. Told you we'd figure it out, she said with a sleepy grin. Sasuke gave a small smirk. It was teamwork. Naruko sat up and looked around the endless desert. Sasuke? She asked. He groaned lightly. What now? How do we get home? Sasuke blinked, then stared at the sky. Oh no. At that moment, the ground began to rumble, not dangerously, but like the land was waking up. Cracks formed as sand slowly shifted and moved. The sealed stone rolled away and vanished into the earth, safe and secure. The dimension is closing now that Kaguya's power is at rest, Sasuke said calmly, though he looked tired. Naruko nodded, breathing deeply as the wind picked up. Storm clouds gathered above, rain falling gently but steadily. We're really at the end of it, huh? Naruko said quietly. I always thought the end of the world would be scary. But this feels more like a new beginning. Lightning flashed far away, lighting the clouds without striking near them. Sasuke stood beside her. Naruko. Promise me something. She looked at him, surprised but smiling. Of course, she said. What is it? The rain continued to fall as hope quietly filled the air. Promise me something, Naruko, Sasuke said softly. Naruko stood still, listening carefully as the wind rustled around them. Sasuke's voice was calm, but serious. Promise me that you'll become Hokage, he continued. And promise that you'll protect families, so no one ever feels alone like I once did. Help kids find the light before they feel lost. Change this world for the better. Naruko's smile faded into a thoughtful expression. She placed her curled fist over her heart, right on top of her worn orange jacket, and nodded. I promise, she said clearly. That's my ninja way. She bowed her head with determination, then looked up again, puzzled. But why does this sound like a goodbye? She asked, forcing a cheerful grin. You're talking like you won't be coming back with me. Sasuke chuckled gently. I don't have much energy left. I can open a way home, but it won't last long. Naruko's eyes lit up. That's perfect. Let's go together. The sky shimmered softly, like glass touched by sunlight. The space around them felt unsteady, as if time itself was holding its breath. There's just one thing, Sasuke said kindly. The opening will only fit one person. Before Naruko could react, she felt herself gently pushed forward. Not roughly, just enough to guide her safely through the glowing doorway. Sasuke! She called out. The world slowed, as if wrapped in a dream. Everything became quiet and still. Naruko looked back and saw Sasuke smiling peacefully. I never said we wouldn't see each other again, he said. Just. Not yet. The doorway closed like a soft curtain. Naruko found herself back on the familiar field, kneeling on the grass. The sky above was calm and bright. She stared at the empty space where the light had been, her chest feeling heavy. Sasuke, she whispered. Tears slipped down her cheeks, not from fear, but from missing someone important. She didn't notice the sound of her friends running toward her at first. Sakura knelt down in front of her, concern in her eyes. Naruko? Sakura asked gently. Where's Sasuke? Naruko didn't answer right away. She took a deep breath, wiped her tears, and stood up slowly. He trusted me, she said softly. So I'll keep my promise. Her friend stood beside her, offering quiet support. Naruko looked toward the horizon, her expression strong but kind. I'll protect this world, she said. For him. For everyone. And with that promise in her heart, Naruko took her next step forward, toward a brighter future. It was 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a beautiful day in Konoha. Sunlight spilled warmly across the village rooftops, and birds fluttered happily through the clear blue sky. A gentle breeze drifted through the streets, carrying laughter, friendly chatter, and the cheerful sounds of shopkeepers greeting their customers. Life in the Hidden Leaf village felt lively and hopeful again. Those sounds floated through the open window of apartment 4A, a newly built home from the village's recent reconstruction. The apartment itself, however, told a very different story. Empty ramen cups and soda cans dotted the floor like forgotten souvenirs. A small stereo sat atop a dresser, playing music from an old MP3 player connected to two oversized speakers. Clothes peeked out of half-open drawers, clearly untouched by folding. In the corners of the room, a few houseplants drooped sadly, long overdue for water. Near the window rested an unmade bed, its blankets tangled into soft hills. Lying there was Naruko Uzumaki, stretched out comfortably on her back with her hands tucked behind her head. She wore a sleeveless black top and tan shorts, dressed simply and neatly. Her golden hair stuck out in every direction, wild and untamed, just the way it always seemed to be. Above her, a ceiling fan spun lazily, keeping the room cool. The stereo clicked, and a new song began to play. Naruko's eyes slowly fluttered open as she stared up at the ceiling. Huh. This song again, she murmured sleepily, glancing toward the stereo. She rolled onto her side and sat up, gazing out the window at the birds soaring above the village. The music continued softly in the background as her thoughts wandered. After a moment, she stood and carefully stepped through the cluttered floor, avoiding a wobbling soda can with a quiet laugh at herself. Reaching the dresser, she paused the music and let the room fall into calm silence. Maybe later, she said gently, setting the MP3 player down. Naruko shuffled toward the bathroom, pushing the door open as it creaked loudly. She winced and sighed. One day, I'll fix that, she told the door with a small smile. She brushed her teeth while looking at her reflection, her expression thoughtful but calm. Her eyes, once so energetic, now held a quieter kind of determination. It's been a while, she thought. I wonder how everyone's doing. Her friends had checked on her often at first, leaving messages and knocking on her door. Over time, they gave her space, trusting that she would come back when she was ready. Naruko never ignored them out of unkindness, she just needed time to sort out her feelings. She rinsed her toothbrush and smiled faintly. Maybe I should go outside today, she said aloud. A walk sounds nice. That small decision brought a spark of warmth to her chest. She pulled on a gray jacket with a thick hood, slipped on her shoes, and grabbed her keys, phone, and her trusty frog-shaped wallet. After locking the door, she stepped out into the bustling street. Naruko pulled her hood up, popped her earphones in, and let gentle music play as she walked. She kept her hands tucked in her pockets, strolling at an easy pace among villagers and children heading about their day. The village looks really good, she thought. Everyone worked so hard to rebuild. Lost in her thoughts, Naruko wandered through the shopping district without even realizing it. Colorful stalls lined the street, filled with treats, trinkets, and smiling faces. She slowed her steps. Maybe it's time to check in with everyone again, she whispered to herself. I don't have all the answers yet, but that's okay. Her thoughts drifted to Sakura, who had always believed in her and encouraged her to speak when she was ready. Naruko touched her pocket where her phone rested, remembering the last message she had received. When you're ready, come see me. We'll talk. Naruko smiled softly. I think, she said quietly, I'm getting there. With renewed purpose and a lighter heart, she continued walking through Konoha, one step at a time, toward growth, friendship, and brighter days ahead. That had been 4 months ago. What did Naruko expect him to say back then? What could he have said? The thought made her chest feel heavy as she walked down the sunny village street, music playing softly through her earphones. Her mood dipped even further, and she considered turning around to head home. Then. Thump. Oof. Careful there. A woman exclaimed as several shopping bags slipped from her hands and landed gently on the sidewalk. Oh, I'm really sorry, ma'am, Naruko said quietly. She barely heard the rest through her music and didn't lift her head, already stepping aside to leave. Before she could take another step, someone lightly but firmly caught her wrist. Naruko turned, startled, and one earphone slipped out. You can't just bump into someone and walk away like th. The woman stopped mid-sentence. Her grip loosened. Nah. Naruko? The woman asked, her voice suddenly soft. Naruko's breath caught. Ino? She whispered. Ino stood there with wide eyes, her blonde hair tied neatly back, shopping bags resting at her feet. She wore a bright orange shirt with a purple flower design and simple leggings, comfortable, cheerful, and very Ino. Naruko's thoughts raced. Why now? Why here? I didn't want to see anyone yet. She tried to step back, but Ino's expression suddenly lit up. It really is you, Ino said happily. You're finally out of your apartment. I've missed you. Before Naruko could react, Ino wrapped her in a warm, enthusiastic hug. Wait, what? Naruko said, surprised. Ino stepped back, smiling brightly. You're not upset with me? Naruko asked softly. Ino blinked. Why would I be? Naruko hesitated. I thought maybe everyone was mad at me. Ino's smile faded into concern. Is that why you've been staying away? Naruko looked down. Never mind. I should go. She tried to leave, again, but Ino gently turned her back around. Oh no you don't, Ino said firmly but kindly. I just found you. You're not disappearing again. Naruko glanced around nervously. I was just heading to the market. Ino raised an eyebrow. This is the clothing district. Naruko winced. Right. Guess I got distracted. Ino sighed, then studied Naruko more closely. Her eyes looked tired. Her posture slouched. She didn't carry that familiar spark anymore. Ino's expression softened. Hey, she said gently. Have you eaten today? Naruko smiled awkwardly. Yeah. Earlier. Her stomach answered loudly. Naruko groaned. You didn't hear that. Ino crossed her arms with a playful look. You know I did. Naruko sighed. Okay. Maybe not. Ino beamed. Perfect. Lunchtime. She picked up her bags and started walking, tugging Naruko along. Wait, Ino. Nope. You're eating with me. Naruko gave up resisting, letting herself be pulled along. I guess I lose, she muttered, then smiled faintly. 10 minutes later. Naruko stopped short. This place, she said quietly. Ichiraku Ramen stood before them, warm and welcoming. Your favorite, Ino said proudly. And my treat. Naruko felt something stir inside her, something gentle and hopeful. Oh okay, she said. Together, they stepped inside. For the first time in a long while, Naruko felt like maybe things could get better. Ino gently flips open the fabric flaps at the front of the ramen stand, letting warm light spill inside. She steps in first, setting her shopping bags beside one of the stools before sitting down. With a soft smile, she pats the empty seat next to her. Naruko joins her, climbing onto the stool and resting her elbows on the counter. She leans forward to look over the menu, her blue eyes moving slowly across the neatly written choices. The shop was quiet, no chatter, no crowd, and Naruko found the calm comforting. It felt nice not having to smile for anyone. Then something new caught her eye. Blazing Angel Ramen? Naruko read aloud, her voice gentle but tired. Ayame, the shopkeeper's daughter, turned from the cooking area. It's our new special ra. She stopped short when she recognized the familiar face. Her eyes lit up. Naruko-san. Naruko let out a quiet breath and pulled on a polite smile, even though it felt heavy. Hi, Ayame, she said softly. Ayame noticed right away that something was different. Naruko's usual spark seemed dim, like a lantern running low. Ayame didn't ask questions. Instead, she returned a kind, understanding smile. It's been a long time, Naruko. I'm sorry my father isn't here today. He would have been happy to see you. Naruko nodded. That's okay. Maybe another time. Ino and Ayame shared a brief glance, one that said, be gentle. Ayame brightened. Oh. About the Blazing Angel Ramen, it's actually inspired by you. Naruko blinked. Me? Ino laughed softly. Yep. That's your nickname now. She rummaged through her purse, muttering playfully about the mess, before pulling out a small book. Found it, Ino said, holding it up proudly. Naruko took it, reading the cover. The updated ninja records? Open it, Ino urged. Naruko flipped through until she reached the marked page. Her eyes widened. At the top was her name. Uzumaki Naruko, also known as the Blazing Angel of Konoha. She read aloud quietly. Named for the golden light she gives off when helping others. Said to bring warmth, hope, and courage wherever she goes. Naruko stared at the page, stunned. They really think that about me? Ayame nodded enthusiastically. We do. That's why we named the ramen after you. Naruko closed the book carefully and handed it back to Ino. She smiled faintly. That's nice. But I think I'll just have regular miso ramen. Ino's smile softened, but she didn't push. Same for me, please. Ayame began cooking, humming gently as steam rose into the air. Naruko stared at the counter, lost in thought. Ino leaned closer. You know, being recognized like that means people see the good you've done. Naruko didn't look up. I don't feel like I deserve it. Ino's expression turned serious. Why would you say that? Naruko's voice trembled. Because when things went wrong, people got hurt. And I couldn't fix everything. I keep thinking I should have done more. Ino listened quietly, her heart aching. I thought bringing you here, Ino said softly, might help you remember that you still matter. That you help people smile again. Naruko's eyes filled with tears. What if I'm not strong enough anymore? Before her worries could spill out any further, Ino gently placed a hand over Naruko's. You don't have to be perfect, Ino said. You just have to keep being you. Naruko took a shaky breath. The warmth from Ino's hand, and from the simmering ramen, felt real. Steady. Kind. For the first time that day, Naruko smiled. A real one. And for a moment, the blazing angel believed she could shine again. Naruko's face turned sideways, tears sliding down her cheeks, leaving streaks across her orange scarf. A faint smudge of dirt marked her right cheek from where she had fallen earlier. Ino's hand hovered slightly above the table, shadows hiding her eyes as she looked down at the floor. Her body shook with a quiet intensity, like she was holding back a storm, but her voice was gentle. How could you? Ino finally looked up, tears glimmering at the corners of her eyes. How could you try to carry all of this alone, Uzumaki? Yes. My father passed. But it wasn't just to protect you. He passed protecting everyone he cared about. He protected his family, our clan, the village. And most importantly, the people who believed in him. Everyone we lost out there. They were protecting others too. They were protecting friends. People they loved. Not just you. They weren't tools to be kept safe. They were heroes, Naruko. Heroes who loved deeply and gave their best for what they believed in. Don't make their sacrifices mean nothing by blaming yourself for everything. Ino's tears fell freely now, and she continued, her voice soft but determined. And Sasuke? Sasuke wasn't different, Naruko. He lost so much in his life. But he never gave up on his friend, on you. He made his choices because he believed in the bond you shared. Not because you were special or magical. But because he cared. He believed in you to make the world brighter, just like you always said you wanted to. But look at you now. Hiding, crying, doubting yourself. Do you think they would want you to do that? To shrink from life? They would want you to shine. To be brave. To pick yourself up and keep going. Naruko's eyes widened. She hadn't realized how much of her sorrow had piled up on her shoulders, and Ino's words made her feel both small and inspired at the same time. Ino reached into her bag and pulled out a small photo, sliding it gently across the counter. It was a picture of the Rookie 9 and Team Guy, all smiling at a sunny Konoha park, enjoying a carefree picnic together. Naruko stared at it, frozen. Ino placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. Don't hide anymore, Naruko, Ino said, voice soft as a breeze. We all learn to heal after losing someone we love. But we didn't do it alone. She smiled and pointed to the photo. Let us help you bring the light back into your heart. The spark we all miss so much. We think of you often. And we want you back. Konoha needs its brightest sun again. Let us help you pick up the pieces so that, one day, you can carry those we've lost with pride. Not sorrow. There are lots of people afraid of life. But don't let that be you, Naruko. Ino carefully returned the photo to her bag, brushing away the last of her tears and giving a warm, confident smile. Why your food is ready, Ayame said quietly, setting 2 bowls down. She peeked up at the 2 girls and hurried back to her work. Yum, Ino exclaimed, grabbing her chopsticks and digging in with her usual cheerful energy. Naruko, however, stayed still, staring at the table, lost in thought. Coward. Have I been a coward? Naruko whispered to herself. Hiding for months, too afraid to see friends who wanted to help me. I've been running away from my promises. From everyone I care about. Maybe Ino's right. Naruko glanced at Ino and Ayame, then let a small, apologetic smile spread across her face. It's time to pick myself up. I won't be a victim anymore. She stood abruptly, making Ino jump slightly. Naruko turned toward the restaurant's entrance but stopped as Ino's voice called after her. Where are you going so suddenly? Ino asked, a playful glint in her eyes. Naruko held her head high, a spark of confidence returning to her posture. It may not happen all at once, Ino. But I'm starting today. I won't quit. And I won't let the people I care about fade away without honoring them. I'll rebuild, step by step. Ino smiled, folding her arms casually and rocking back on her stool. You didn't answer my question, idiot. Where exactly are you going? She asked with a playful tilt of her head. Naruko laughed softly and glanced over her shoulder. I'm going to the Hokage's office. It's time to get back to being a proper ninja. And thank you, Ino. With a confident flick of her arm, Naruko pushed the restaurant flaps aside and stepped out into the bustling street. She was ready to face the world again. Ino watched for a moment, smiling, before turning back to her meal. You know, she might really come back to herself after all, Ayame said, leaning on the counter with a grin. Oh, she will, Ino replied between bites. All she needed was a little push. Ayame leaned closer, a teasing sparkle in her eyes. You're awfully nice to help her like that. Do you? Like Naruko? Ino's eyes widened, cheeks flaming pink. What? No. We're just friends. I'm just helping out someone who needs it. Ayame chuckled knowingly. Sure. Whatever you say, Ino-san. Ino rolled her eyes but grinned, quickly pulling out her phone. I've got another idea to help her even more, she whispered excitedly, tapping her screen. Oh? And what's that? Ayame leaned closer. Well, just another friend of Naruko's who needs a little nudge, Ino said, sliding through her contacts. When she found the right one, her grin grew even wider. This will definitely help Naruko, she said confidently. Ayame's eyes sparkled as she realized exactly who Ino meant. Contact name, BFF Sakura H. Tilda smile. My dear YouTube family. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, it really means a lot. Thank you for your support. Warm regards. Anime Dreams.